right, rescue heroes. Let's put Alpha Delta 2-3 split into action.
Sure thing. You got it.
Let's go, guys.
And welcome once again to As the Reel Turns, your place for all things movie and television. And we have also got another great show for you. So today we're going to be talking about something that has spanned a little bit of a long time. It did have a bit of a, we'll call it a high time in the 70s and 80s, and then kind of fizzled out as the years went on. But it is still a very, very, very big show and big franchise in a way. And we're shooting this the day after Memorial Day. So I thought it fitting to talk about the mega thing that is MASH. Yes, MASH, a franchise that I think celebrated 40 years last year. I could be wrong, but the television show anyway, but don't quote me on that. But regardless, it still is in the hearts of many, many viewers and still has one of the biggest television finales ever put to screen. And we've got, a retired war man here. What are your thoughts? Thanks for coming on the show. Are you doing okay?
War. This pain.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. No, I'm kidding. We have my good friend Justice.
Yeah,
Justice,
what's up?
How's it going? How's it going, Justice?
Camera's right there.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Yes, good to have you on, and it's good that you know about this show because a lot of people, our generation don't really know about it.
Well, I was one of those kids that had to babysit a lot, and thankfully one of the things that was on cable at the time was TV Land, and one of the main shows that they had running was I Love Lucy and stuff and the Andy Griffith Show, but primarily MASH at I think 5:30.
Yeah, that's more. That is fantastic, and that's when TV Land was good. But let's talk. We're going to talk about all things MASH today, and before we even get to the big thing that was the series, we have to start back at the very roots of MASH, which was a book. It was called MASH: A Story About Three Army Doctors. And it was about these three doctors that run a mobile army surgical hospital, MASH.
Okay, I was a little confused on where the army doctor came in that title.
Exactly. And in the Korean War. We're in the Korean War. So what are your thoughts on having this be a book?
Honestly, it's not that surprising. Mm-hmm. Given that, a lot of media that you think of nowadays is usually stems from anything that becomes a movie eventually starts off as a book, Jurassic Park itself. I didn't know it started off as a book, but there it is.
Sure.
Same with Jaws. That started off as a book.
That's true, yeah. That's another one.
Yeah. MASH, I feel like I haven't read the book, but I'm probably going to get corrected on this, but I feel like it could be a decent read.
I think so, yeah. And I really haven't gone searching for it in any bookstores, but frankly, I don't think I've even come across it really in a bookstore, not looking for it, if you know what I mean.
You're probably going to have to find it in like a secondhand book or store or something. Like,
Yeah.
probably the thrift shop down the road.
Honestly, you're right, probably. But anyway, and I think you told me before the show started that it was written by a war vet?
Yes, I forget the name of the author, but he served in the Korean War and then went on to write this book.
Right, exactly. Which is, that's fitting, and he definitely knows what it's like.
Yeah.
So the book was obviously big enough to become a major feature film in 1970 called MASH. They got rid of the subtitle of the Three Army Doctors, but they just called it MASH. And what we're watching here is we're watching the opening credits, because honestly, if I had shown the trailer, many people shouldn't watch the trailer. But basically, the idea of this story here, now I want to make sure I get this right here. And you're seeing a lot of famous names, like Donald Sutherland, Elliot Gould,
Tom Skerritt.
Rene Auberjonois, who would go on to Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and Robert Duvall, many names here. But the thing is, I'll be completely honest with you, I'm a little in the dark about the movie. As far as I know, it's about all these characters. You have characters like Hawkeye Pierce, Trapper John, Frank Burns, Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan, Henry Blake, the colonel, the lieutenant colonel in charge, the ever popular Radar, the company clerk, and then Father Mulcahy as well.
Same title, same song they used for the title of the
Oh
show
yes,
as well.
Johnny Mandel singing a great theme song here, Suicide is Painless, fantastic song, which ties into the plot of there's a doctor trying to kill himself in this movie, and there's a lot of dark themes in this. I mean, obviously it's war, but you've seen the movie, Justice, so as we watch the opening credits here, what are your thoughts on the movie, and is there anything else you can tell us about the plot there?
I'll be honest with you, like the parts of the movie that I've seen, like I watched it when I was very young. I still watch it, but like I didn't really see any of the parts that were like a doctor trying to kill himself. But one thing that I do remember specifically from the movie was like my dad telling me about this. He told me that like around the time that this movie was made, it was oh, look at that, from the novel by Richard Hoover.
There it is, right there.
Was it Richard Hooker or Richard Hoover?
One of those.
It was one of those. There's either a K or a V in there. But yeah, like he told me that this was written about the Korean War, but the way that like a lot of it can be tied back to like the Vietnam War.
Well, that was the other big allegory and similarity between the film and the series, was this was being made at the time of the Vietnam War, and a lot of the things of the plots were being lifted right from the actual Vietnam War and being just thrown into Korea. But yeah, no, it's just the crazy antics of Hawkeye and Trapper John just causing all types of mayhem and chaos throughout this camp. And just from the trailer, like I said, I'm not going to show it because there are some things in this movie that I ask myself, my God, what were they thinking? And obviously things in the books and movies are never exactly the same, but did the author even write some of those scenes?
You'd have to read the book in order to determine.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I know, and I'm just like judging from things I've seen. Like, we all know that Hawkeye and Trapper are drinkers, and they make their own martini thing in their campsite, the Swamp. But we also see them like pulling terrible jokes on poor Margaret and the nurses, like lifting the shower tent sides right up, and we have
Well, hi, Hot Lips.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry to touch your butt.
Follow the zany antics of our combat surgeons as they cut and stitch their way along the front lines, operating as bombs and bullets burst around them, snatching laughs and love between amputations and penicillin.
Did Hawkeye steal that Jeep?
No, sir, that's the one he came in.
Oh, very good. Come along, my dear.
Follow Hawkeye, Trapper, Duke, Dago Red, Painless, Radar, Hot Lips, Dish, and Staff Sergeant Volmer as they put our boys back together again. Starring...
Like I said, there's a whole like almost like Last Supper type of looking scene when when one doctor's trying to kill himself right there. What is this movie?
I'll help you.
Through early morning fog I see visions of the things to be, the pains that are withheld for me. I realize and I can see that suicide is painless. It brings on many changes, and I can take or leave it if I please. The game of life is hard to play. I'm going to lose it anyway. The losing card I'll someday lay. So this is all I have to say. That suicide is painless. It brings on many changes, and I can take or leave.
I'll always remember you just like this.
Compared to the show, this was more like this is a very much more of a drama than it was a comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there are comedic elements thanks to what they do in the movie, but otherwise, it's just...
This is the post-op ward. Don't mind. Oh, well, take care of these, will you, please? This is my
Finished work for the day?
Yes, why?
Good, good. I just wanted to make sure you had time to sleep this off.
Trapper! Captain McIntyre, what the hell?
Captain?
What's going on? Who started this?
I hit him. He's an ignoramus, that knucklehead.
You wouldn't have touched me if I had my guard up. Let us settle this, Colonel, between ourselves. Alone.
What do you think I'm running, an English boarding school? McIntyre, you're under arrest. Confine yourself to quarters pending an investigation.
Oh, Henry, are you kidding?
I deeply regret this unfortunate incident. We try to remember we're a military organization.
I should certainly hope so.
Walmer, that man is under arrest. Confine him to his quarters.
Captain McIntyre, you are officially...
Come on, cut it out, Volmer.
The bad actions of the people back then, but like a lot of that was seen as like, oh yeah, that's funny, like we can get away with that and stuff. Like nowadays you look at that, it's like, you can't do that.
No, of course not. I don't know the rating of this movie, and I've looked it up and I can't find a rating, but I would almost say it has to be R, just because of language and nudity and stuff like that.
Most likely.
Yeah.
And this isn't like a period when like the R rating didn't exist. The R rating didn't show up until like 1960 or 1960, whenever Night of the Living Dead came out.
Sure.
Because that's when it was brought into play.
Right. What you can take away from this movie is that it definitely was the spark of things. I mean, you know, if you want to go say like the book was the lighter, this was the spark. And I can't necessarily, for me anyway, recommend it because A, I didn't see it, and B, just from what I've researched and from what I've seen, it's not my cup of tea. I don't know about you. It's been a while, you said, since you've seen this, but...
Yeah, but from like what you described and what I remember, it kind of has the vibe of like, oddly enough, Meatballs meets Johnny Got His Gun.
Okay. That's an interesting combo.
Yeah, I'm probably like missing the mark entirely. I'll have to watch it again to like see, but educated guess, given that like Donald Sutherland's in this as well as like Tom Skerritt.
Tom Skerritt, Elliot Gould, yeah.
Tom Skerritt, if I remember correctly, famously was the captain in the movie Alien.
Okay, yes, I do, yes, okay. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, he played Dallas.
Yep. But I guess the thing you can take away from this is that it is the spark. If you are more familiar with the TV show and you want to check this out, be fair warned, it is almost like a complete 180. All your favorite characters are there, but they're all played by different people, and they're played up to kind of like Unlucky 13 in a way, because it's just they don't have TV borders to, corral them, and
No laugh track.
no laugh track, and they harp on some really dark subjects. I mean, like we said with the song, suicide is painless, and they really bring that into the plot with suicide and all that stuff. So that is what I can say about MASH the movie. It's there. That's all I can say. It's there. But like we also mentioned, this is one of those instances where a major film comes out and somebody suggested, let's make a television series out of this. Now, 9 times out of 10, this doesn't work, or it's not memorable. But boy, did this one work. 2 years go by. MASH the film came out in 1970. 2 years, 1972, we get MASH the television series. All right, so this is one of those major series that everybody should watch in their lifetime.
I think they actually used clips from the movie for like the intro.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Some of the flying scenes.
What we're watching here is the pilot episode intro, and then we'll see the last season intro, just to give you the idea of the different names in it. And there's some really good gags, so we can check this out. Like, here's a great one: off limits to male personnel. Woman walks out, man walks out. That's great. The major thing here is that major cast changes. Everybody was recast when the series came around, except for Radar. Radar was still the same, being played by Gary Berghoff. And the series lasted 11 seasons, from 1972 to 1983. And we have newcomers: Alan Alda as Hawkeye, Wayne Rogers as Trapper John, McLean Stevenson as Henry, Larry Linville as Frank Burns, Laura Swit as Hot Lips, and we'll also get Jamie Farr as Klinger, William Christopher as Father Mulcahy, and then some other ones as we'll see the names go by. See, there we go, some more cast names. And we're also using an instrumental version of Johnny Mandel's theme.
Yep.
So here's the last season intro now as well. Justice, will go to you as we're watching the intros here. Is MASH a huge deal? What made this show so good?
Educate guess, I'd probably say like the way it was shot.
Mm-hmm.
The like the type of stories, and like it was very topical.
Sure.
Given the fact that this was also being filmed during and also after the Vietnam War.
Yeah, and there was a lot, like we mentioned with the movie, there's a lot going on with this show that is supposed to be kind of connected to the...
This is like a period when like a bunch of like groundbreaking shows were coming out, because I think Roots also came out around the time.
Yeah, it was in the middle of that, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that, yeah.
Like Cheers, I forget
that started right at the tail end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, it was... There are so many things, and like you said, you watched a lot of the show on TV Land.
Mostly as like background noise, but yeah, I still watched it.
But it was so impactful because they brought a little bit more fun into it, because Alan Alda and Wayne Rogers, and then we saw Mike Farrell, who would play BJ. They all had fun in the swamp. Their practical jokes were more family friendly to an extent, and. so many clever episodes. Like I know like some of my favorites include one where they had to make like it wasn't a silent movie, but they made a promotional movie about. They were told kind of like to make a promotional movie about the war, and they just made a mockery of it.
The men of the 407th are on 24-hour duty, always ready to receive those GIs who need medical help.
Doctor, can you give him a hand?
I'd rather give you one.
Are you the Yankee Doodle doctor?
I certainly am.
Radar, you're terrific.
Look at these guys. Gosh, I'm glad they brought me here.
Wait a minute, have you got a reservation?
A reservation?
I'm afraid we're all booked up through New Year's.
But, doctor!
I'm sorry, kid, you should have booked ahead. Come to think of it, you should have booked the rest of the body as well.
What the hell was that?
I think it was like Yankee Doodle Doctor, and they had Alan Alda. They had Hawkeye playing one of the Marx Brothers. They had Hawkeye and Trapper playing the Marx Brothers, and so that's a fun one. But they were not afraid to shy away from dramatic stuff as well, because one of the big things in like the third season was at the end of it, Henry Blake gets his discharge papers, and he gets the whole cast sees him off, and oh no, choppers are coming, we gotta prep for surgery. Okay, they're all in surgery. Radar walks in, and he just has a telegram. It's Colonel Henry Blake plane was shot over whatever it was part of the country, and it's like, oh.
Or I'm going to come back and kick your butt.
Radar, put a mask on. If that's my discharge, give it to me straight. I can take it.
I have a message. Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake's plane was shot down over the Sea of Japan. It spun in. There were no survivors.
Silence.
Yeah, that's actually
Stuff like that. How do you feel about that?
Oh, actually, fun fact. This is something I learned today. Actually, like the original producers weren't like very keen on having the laugh track. They wanted it to be like a primarily serious show, and but TV at the time was just like I forget like the major company. I think it might have been CBS.
Yes.
You know, they were like, you got to have it in because like every other show's doing it. That makes it popular.
Right.
And I feel like they made a compromise where like they would use the laugh track sometimes, but not during like the operations.
Yeah.
And like over time, as the show went on, they lost the laugh track. And
in those OR scenes, it was dead silent, but they described it as meatball surgery because they're three miles from the front lines, and those OR scenes were, you know, they were scary stuff. But they also did very interesting types of episodes. Now, there was one where, you know, they're a mobile Army surgical hospital, but they wanted a cement floor because they wanted to keep the instruments or something like stable or something like that. And I remember like there's one OR scene where Hawkeye just drops something on the floor and tink. Oh, that sound on the cement floor, tink. But no, they had like one where Hawkeye has to save a patient, and they actually have a clock in the corner. They had to save him in that amount of time. And they had another one where it was sort of made to look like a 1950s reporter is on the site of the hospital. So the whole episode was in black and white, and he's interviewing the
doctors cut into a patient, and it's cold, you know, white as snow today. Steam rises from the body, and the doctor will warm himself over the open wound. Could anyone look on that and not feel changed?
And really famous one where it's all from the POV of a patient.
Private Rich. Good morning. I came by to change your dressing. There. As long as I'm here, how about a nice sponge bath? First, we'll loosen your top. Just relax, Private. I've done this hundreds of times, and no one's ever died of embarrassment. You see, the technique in giving a sponge bath is never to let the bathee know that he's being bathed at all. You just keep looking at him straight in the eye and talking to him at the same time. It doesn't matter about what, just so long as he doesn't notice that he's being sponged and soaped and rinsed off. And pretty soon, before he's even aware of it, he's had his very first sponge bath. There. Done. That wasn't so bad now, was it? Judging by that smile, I'd say no. Well, Private, if you'll excuse me, I have some other patients to attend.
Howdy, Texas. You better remind them to clean up your room. You're going home soon. Now that you've got that pad, we can finally have a talk. Which part of the Lone Star State do you hail from? You don't say. Got my medical training at Fort Sam Houston. Good old San Antone. A bowl of chili down there would keep you alive for days.
Colonel, you forgot to sign this chart.
I didn't forget. I'll sign it later. Now, shoo. I guess it shows, huh? It's Mildred, my wife, back home. Lovely girl. We've been married for 35 years as of last Saturday. Every anniversary, no matter where I am, I manage to call her. Tell her how much well, you know. This year I clean forgot.
And the whole episode is done that way. So these creative endeavors that they would come up with, how do you feel? Do you think that those were wise ideas for a show like MASH, or do you think they were a little bit over the top?
I think they were definitely like creative, like you said. I mean, you look at like some modern television shows nowadays; they're doing episodes like that.
Yeah.
Especially like the POV type episode, because like I can name like probably 5 off the top of my head that do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say them, but they definitely exist.
Yeah, I mean
they're real.
They're real. We promise they're real. No,
they exist.
But no, and I'm sure, you know, if it were being made nowadays, I'm sure they would have done something like a musical episode. Oddly enough, probably.
Have they done a musical episode
on this? No.
That's probably the most shocking thing. I thought this would be prime for like a musical episode, given like what kind of creativity they were working with.
You would have thought that, honestly, but they also did stuff like they would have one where Hawkeye's writing letters to his dad, and kind of the narration of the whole episode would be done with him writing the letters.
He comes in with an unexploded grenade that's been shot into his body. Something they neglected to tell us about in med school. The procedure is simple. You operate on a human time bomb while your life flashes in front of you, and you promise God anything he wants if he'll keep your patient from blowing up in your face. There must be an easier way for a surgeon to make $413.50 a month. I'm glad to report that the patient and the doctors survived. There followed another operation which we natives here call the happy hour. It's a chance to meet your neighbor. It's a chance to do a little better than meet your neighbor.
This is nice.
I bet we could dance great together, too.
It really doesn't hurt? I've done 100 hernias. You think I should have it done, huh? Absolutely. Take off your dress.
When his dad does appear on the show, that's actually Alan Alda's real father. So that's kind of a cool connection. But what about the characters? I mean, when we were talking about the movie, we know that they were different, kind of slightly from when they were on the show. But you know, Hawkeye, Trapper, and BJ, they all were the knuckleheads of the camp. Frank Burns had his affair going on with Hot Lips, and all the other guys wanted an affair with her too.
3 guesses.
General MacArthur. Clark Gable. Dr. Schweitzer.
Right. All 3 times. Margot.
Frank, don't make any marks. Frank, we've got ours.
That's right. Let the others get theirs.
To go, Frank. Ours to go.
Oh, of course. Gee, it all looks so nice. You've got gold in the hands, Margaret.
Is that actually her coming out of the tent in like the first season in the pilot intro?
No, I don't think it is.
Okay.
I don't think that is. But Frank was the stickler for the rules, and then when he left, Charles Emerson Winchester, the third, he was the new stickler, and then Henry Blake and Sherman Potter, they were the colonels. Henry was a little bit laid back. Sherman was more stolid, but also good. Radar, he was the kid of the camp, and always slept with his teddy bear and stuff like that. And then Klinger was the cross-dresser. I'm definitely insane. And then he kind of switched gears, and then Father Mulcahy, he's kind of there holding court as the priest. But what about this cast of characters? What do you think about them and those descriptions?
Definitely a very unique cast of characters.
Yeah.
But actually some interesting stories.
Yeah.
Something I learned is like, what was his name again? Catcher?
Trapper John.
Not like the crossdresser.
Oh, Klinger.
Klinger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, they were initially gonna write Klinger to be gay, like openly gay. But
really?
Yeah, but instead they switched that over to him being a crossdresser.
Okay.
And that was going to be based off of like an actual experience that I think one of the writers or the author experienced, because like most of the writers and actors were actually Army servicemen.
Sure.
Some in the Vietnam War.
Yeah, and his thing was like he really wasn't
he was trying to get out of it.
He was trying to get out of it. Yeah, he was the Section 8 and all that stuff.
I think that was actually the story.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
There we go.
Corporal Klinger. I'm Section 8, head to toe. I'm wearing a Warner bra. I play with dolls. My last wish is to be buried in my mother's wedding gown. I'm nuts. I should be out.
Horse hockey. I've seen these Dodgers for 40 years, all the tricks.
No, I just, it's a great cast of characters, and I think although, Trapper and Henry and
I definitely feel like the new cast brings like a sort of levity and less like, they feel less mean.
Yes.
Compared to like their movie counterparts.
That's the word. That's the description. They're less mean.
They're still like funny, but like there's some sincerity to it.
And I definitely think like the original characters, like BJ and Charles and Potter, they were brought in later on in the show, and I think they're better than the actual characters that were already written. When they kick those characters out, the new ones come in, and I think they work better in the show. Do you think there's a difference between the two, or do you think they're all just kind of the same?
If I was like a devoted a MASH fan, then I probably would be coming in just like all hopped up and ready to go. But
Yeah.
like all I have is like what I watched and the research that I did.
But at least you know about it. That's the good thing.
I know MASH.
That's it. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I wanted at least. But no, there were so many good moments just throughout those 11 seasons. I mean, everything from the creative stuff they did, like the POV and the interview, to even having like BJ and Hawkeye befriend a North Korean soldier, and like he honestly surrenders to them, but doesn't even know it and stuff like that. So funny stuff like that.
Actually, fun fact.
Yeah.
The show actually outlived the Vietnam War.
That's right. That's right. It did live out the actual Vietnam War, which just shows how popular a show was.
Yeah.
So the question is how we were going to end this show.
Oh boy.
And that is where the series finale came in with Goodbye, Farewell, and Amen, which is a big, it's almost like this cast's movie. And they had everything from Hawkeye being supposedly insane because of a mistake that I won't say, a mistake that happened. A chicken. Yeah, chicken.
Was there anything about that you found upsetting?
No, I'll tell you what I find upsetting is being in here. I want you to get me out of here. I don't care how you do it. You can put me on a plane, on a train, on a bus, on a slow boat to China. I'll go out on a mouse-drawn chariot. I don't care what.
A bus, huh?
Again with the bus? Why don't you subscribe to Arizona Highways and leave me alone?
It's more fun with you.
Keep that damn chicken quiet.
Then what happened?
Then I went back toward the front of the bus.
And what happened next?
There's something wrong with it. It stopped making noise. It's just stopped. She killed it. She killed it.
She killed the chicken.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
That happened while they were moving some Koreans out of the way, to the war ending, to like Charles having this band of Koreans that something happens. There's just so much going on, and it's such a big event. What do you think of this finale?
I think it was probably one of the, well, for one thing, I think it was considered one of the most popular finales.
It
that
has
came
to
out
be,
at
yeah.
the time. Like,
it still has that high rating.
it was prime time television at the time.
Yeah.
The most that I really know is like the whole Hawkeye story, because it has been like discussed, like it has been parodied one time, which I don't know why you would parody.
Why would you parody that?
Family Guy.
Oh, okay.
Because.
But you know the chicken. That's the good thing.
Yeah.
You know the chicken. Yeah.
And here's the thing, like, this is definitely around the time when like the laugh track was pretty much gone.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
like, if they had the laugh track during this final season, they would not have played it like at all during that scene.
Especially with that chicken. Why would you have a laugh track at the chicken part?
Yeah, it would just be disrespectful.
But I will say those final moments are so good because, you know, I clocked it. I swear, Hawkeye and Hot Lips have the longest kiss in television history.
You timed it?
I timed it. I'm like, yep, they're still. Oh my gosh, they're still kissing.
So, listen.
Yeah.
Well, so long.
See ya.
And then,
What'd that come out to? Like 2 minutes, 13 seconds?
oh, it was less than that, but, and then of course the very famous, BJ says goodbye to Hawkeye, and Hawkeye is in his helicopter, and they take off, and what you see is this giant goodbye in rocks on the ground, and it was not only a goodbye to Hawkeye, but it was them
saying goodbye to the audience.
Exactly. But I'll share the quick Cliff Notes version of this story here. So my mother is a huge MASH fan. She loves MASH. And she came home when the finale was going to be on TV. So she came home, and when she walked in the door, she sees this blanket on the front room couch. And there's like a big mixing bowl at one end and two boots at the other. And that was supposed to be Radar sleeping. My grandfather then comes down. She's worried like something, she doesn't know what he's going to come down in, like, you know, an army thing or a Klinger thing. She doesn't know. But he comes down in like a doctor's, made-up doctor's outfit. My grandmother comes down in a made-up nurse's outfit. There are signs all over the place. There's like mess tent, and there's swamp. There's, I don't know what else, officers, whatever. And they go out on the porch. They have Franks and beans, and they wheel the TV out there, and they watch the finale. And that's that's just, it was so much fun that when she told the story to me, it's like, you know, my grandparents having a great time like that, and they're having a wonderful time watching the show. It's just a nice memory, I think.
Yeah, it's like, that's one of those memories that you only hear about, that like your parents will tell you about. Like when you talk about like, hey, they're making a reboot of the show, and turns out your parents loved it, so they'll go on like a spiel about like how this was their childhood.
Right.
Or even say like when the original finale came out, we did this.
Right.
Or we had like a big thing.
And that's what, I really like it when people do that, have a party for a series finale or something like that. For one example, like when the final season of Stranger Things comes out, I know that I want to get everybody who's a Stranger Things fan or has seen the show, watch the season by yourself if you want, but hold off on that finale, and like we'll all get together and I'll have a themed party for the series finale.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun.
I will admit there is like some shows nowadays that are like, yeah, they're on streaming services, but they're still doing like the weekly episodic thing because that was like the thing that drew people in.
That's right.
So if you give everyone like everything all at once, then there's nothing special about it.
I know like the new season of Doctor Who is doing that.
Yeah, no anticipation.
Right. But yeah, no, I know like my parents also did, like when the last episode of Star Trek Enterprise premiered, they did that theme party where it's like, let's have a Star Trek party. So no, stuff like that, it's great, and I'd love to do that. And do yourself a favor. Don't necessarily, if you want, like I mentioned before, you don't have to watch the film, but watch the series. The series is massive. It is a major television milestone, and if that finale doesn't pull you by the heartstrings in either joy or sadness, probably more sadness, there's something wrong with you.
It's also a staple of like television, like in general. Like,
it is.
Like everyone looks back at like the history of television, and like everyone's talking about like, you got like the Andy Griffith Show, you got like Tombstone, and then you come in and it's like MASH.
Exactly. So after the grand scale that was the series, people would wonder, and especially the finale, that's it. They said goodbye literally, and that was it. Well, anything that's popular can never say that's it.
What?
I know, right? Thus, a couple years after the finale, we got spin-off number 1.
There's multiple?
Yeah, afraid so. Spin-off number 1, aptly named Aftermash. Okay, so I got to give him credit for, fun in the sense of name-wise. I like the name. But yeah, let's talk Aftermash here, because it was a great idea, but it just didn't work. It lasted only 2 seasons, and the idea was that we have Harry Morgan's Colonel Potter, Jamie Farr's Klinger, and William Christopher's Father Mulcahy all together again like friends, and we also have Klinger's wife that he married in Korea, Rosalind Chow, who is Keiko from Star Trek. This was kind of basically supposed to be the next chapter. This is what life is like when they're home now after Korea. These 3 friends, there they are together again. They're war pals, but they're more than that. They're just pals. And they did carry over some stuff like Klinger's wife.
Miss Cox, have you met my wife, Sue Lee? This is Miss Cox.
Oh, yes, the big foil. Hi. So nice to meet you, too. Mr. Klinger, please don't take this personally, but I would like to apologize to you for my accusations of yesterday. I believe I was being overly suspicious, and I'm sorry. Good evening.
How about that? Korea may someday fade from my memory, but this moment never will.
What was she talking about? Suspicious of what?
Oh, nothing. Hospital business.
No, it had to be something.
Believe me, honey, it was nothing. Let's dance.
And then the fact that Father Mulcahy is now deaf in one ear. But it just didn't seem to work. So, what are your thoughts on Aftermash? Just from that description and the intro we saw and stuff like that.
Was it really necessary?
That's the question. Was it really necessary?
I mean, like, you finished off with the Korean War. Like, if anything, if you want to do, like, another type of MASH, like, have it actually take place during, like, another war. Like,
Sure.
have it take place during, like, hell, even go, like, World War II.
Sure.
Or even Vietnam War.
It was nice to see those characters again, but we almost didn't need to because we went on so many adventures with them already, and again, the grand finale.
Yeah.
So it just seemed, I guess, forced is a word.
Yeah, it just seems like it was going to go for like one of those cookie cutter sitcoms.
Yeah.
Where they had like the single camera and like a studio set. The other one, it felt like it was more filmed on location.
I mean, they kind of did try to incorporate the little bit of like, I guess, dramedy, drama comedy type of thing, but
that's a word in my lexicon now.
It is, and they went to various different spots, and I don't even know if they had a laugh track like MASH even did. I don't think they did, but yeah, I just think it was forced. I think it's forced.
It's TV executives probably trying to like leave off of like the popularity of like the. Actually, here's a question: how long did they wait to make After MASH, after MASH ended?
Exactly the same year. It started in 1983.
There it is.
That's why. I will say it was nice to have. If there was ever a main nurse on MASH, it was Kelly. I'm gonna butcher her last name, Nakahara. And she
sounded fine, like Nakahara.
Yeah, I probably messed up her name, but
Korean viewers, please correct us.
Well, she's Hawaiian, I think, the actress, but
never mind.
Yeah,
Hawaiian viewers angrily call us and correct us.
And she was kind of the main supporting nurse on the show, and she does make a voice appearance on After MASH. So there are tie-ins in there, and this is the main one that I think is the main spin-off. This is where you have actual characters being reprised by their actual actors jumping right off of the end of their parent show. Okay. So that's all good, but yeah, give it a try. It's hard to find, but if you want to just see probably what could have happened after MASH,
I was gonna say, like, are you sure it's that hard? I mean, you just gotta watch. You just gotta keep watching because apparently it's after MASH.
Yeah.
You did a pun. I did a pun.
I like that. So that's spin-off number 1. Spin-off number 2 is probably the most out there one because the character came back, but the actor did not. That being Trapper John, M.D. So there are 1,002 doctor shows out there.
Quincy.
It's just, yeah, that's very, that and others. Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, ER, Doctor Who. What? No, sorry. But my point here is that we have Trapper John, M.D., and I can tell you this, Parental Roberts there doesn't look a thing like Wayne Rogers. Doesn't look a thing like him. But this was the most successful show. This lasted 7 seasons. And if you ask me, it's just another doctor show. There is really no connection to MASH, except for like, oh yeah, this is Trapper John, definitely the same guy. And
Trapper John just kind of feels unnecessary at that point. Just like, doesn't be any doctor.
Yeah, and the character really kind of got an unofficial off-camera send-off in the show. Like when the 4th season, I think it was, came around, Wayne Rogers just was a no-show, and that's why they brought in Mike Farrell's BJ, pre-bushy, cheesy 70s mustache. But yeah, does this feel even more unnecessary than, like, say, After MASH?
Well, oh yeah, absolutely. Actually, thinking about it, like, did you really need to bring the doctor? Did you really need to bring Trapper John into this?
No.
Like you said, it just feels. It looks, from the intro alone, it looks like once again one of those cookie cutter, very 70s doctor shows.
Yeah. This was the 80s. This is the 80s though.
This is the 80s. Oh my god.
I mean, started in 79, but
it's so dated looking.
I know. But 7 seasons. What's up with that?
I'll admit that is pretty impressive.
Yeah. So I guess
it had something going for it.
It had something going for it. Yeah. I guess there's a reference every so often to his time in Korea,
Well, if he wants to work for me, he'll have to show some respect for the rules.
The way you did in Korea, right? Let's go, Trapper. On the double. Up, up, up. Wake up, Trapper. The choppers are dumping casualties all over it.
Choppers. Oh, Hawkeye? Radar. Radar, where's Hawkeye?
Hey, that's almost 30 years ago. This isn't Korea. It's San Francisco.
And there's... I don't know if there's ever any name drops of characters or anything like that, but yeah, I would probably, if you just want to see a medical doctor show, there you go. There's one for you. But if you're expecting something having to do with MASH, I'd probably say not really. Yeah, that'd be my description.
Yeah. Once again, I'm just saying, like, if you want to continue MASH, have it take place in like another war.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
gonna keep fighting for that argument, like,
I like
as this
that.
goes on.
I'm not complaining about that. No.
Oh, no. This isn't directed at you. This is directed at TV Land. You know what I'm talking about.
TV Land, Me TV. You are big into MASH. You've done interviews with the cast. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Anyway, that's spin-off number 2. Spin-off number 3.
Please tell me this is the last one.
Yeah, this is the last one. But
Thank God.
this one's probably even... This one was just stupid. This is the stupid one, I call it. This is Walter. Now, this was not even a show. This was a single episode. This was a pilot. Walter was supposed to be the continuing adventures of Corporal Walter O'Reilly, or as we all know him, Radar. Gary Burkhoff himself comes back as Radar, and...
Walter.
Yeah, Walter.
You're a cat, Walter.
He doesn't call himself Walter. He doesn't call himself Radar anymore, and he's just moved back. He's moved away from his home in Iowa, and now he's in St. Louis, Missouri, I guess. On his way to become a police officer. Okay. So if
let me take a look at that.
I know, it's like, yeah, no. You want to read some information here? I don't know. There are some name drops. There is a name drop to Hawkeye in this, and there are some references, I guess, to MASH. And also after MASH, maybe? I don't know, but it's just kind of like, what were they thinking here?
How?
Radar kind of got this big send-off in the actual MASH show. I mean, everyone was sad to see him go. The fans were sad to see him go.
Now he's off on his own adventures. I hope he has a good life. Cut to this. He's a police officer.
Let me ask you this. Now that you know about all 3 spin-offs here, which one seems the most unnecessary? After MASH, Trapper John MD, or Walter?
Okay, side note, I have a cat in my house called Walter, named Walter, and every time we see him, we always greet him like, not like Walter, we always go like, Walter. like the Breaking Bad piece, like, you're a cat, Walter.
But which one seems the most unnecessary?
I'd say probably Can I pick all three?
Yes, that is an option.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with all three.
I mean, I don't really need to see the continuing adventures of Radar.
Yeah, that was their time.
Yeah.
You can. I'm still gonna do this again. Punch me if I do this again. You and I both know you're not gonna hurt me. You can continue doing MASH. You can even keep the same name.
Sure.
Just have it be a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's plenty of other wars out there.
There's so many wars. America is rife with wars.
But no, it's like, I don't need to see the continuing adventures of Radar. I don't need to see the continuing adventures of Trapper John. And then After MASH was a good idea on paper, I bet, but just didn't need to be put to screen.
Written paper or money paper?
Up to you to decide.
I'm gonna go with money paper.
I mean, those two characters were obviously alive. We could have had them cameo in the finale if we wanted to, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't bring Henry into it because he's Croak.
Yeah.
But yeah, we could have brought like Frank and Trapper and I don't know. So I guess the bottom line is you can find the Radar pilot on internet somewhere on YouTube or something like that. But
why didn't they call it Radar?
True. Because he's not called Radar anymore.
No one knows who Walter is. That's a guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone knows who Radar is.
Exactly.
Come on in here. Someday I'll have my tailor taper it in here. Show off your figure.
Oh, yeah.
Dames love that. Suck in your gut. Now you look like one of St. Louis's finest. And remember, kid, this is the big time, okay? This ain't the farm. You and me, we're going straight to the top. Mayor for me. What would you like?
I'd like to let out my breath if it's all right.
You got it. Oh, it's on. Come on.
Lead Robert, we look in on former corporal, now rookie law officer, Radar O'Reilly.
Walter. My name is Walter.
What about Corporal O'Reilly? Has he found the American dream? We'll return after these messages.
The brand new... Hey, come on. We're going to be late. We should have taken a day off. Walter, give me a pad.
What, a pad?
Pad. Walter.
Hey, wait a minute. Somebody swiped my wallet. It's gone. Jeez, I had my MASH picture in there and everything. Well, it's not the wallet I miss so much, you know. It was that photograph of all my Army buddies. Colonel Blake was in there, you know. He was like a father to me. My own father died when I was just a little baby. Hawkeye was in there, too. He was a great guy.
But yeah, no, I wouldn't recommend that one. Just like we've said, stick with the series.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know. So some fun facts here I'll mention is that after all of this, even after the spin-offs, the cast got together to do a whole bunch of series of commercials.
Really?
They've done everything, like mainly Alan Alda, but the other cast were brought into it. They did everything from like Atari computers to IBM computers to weather stations to I don't know, but the main ones were Atari and IBM. Like they would have a whole series of commercials with the cast jumping in and out.
Our new IBM Personal System 2 connects with all our other computers to send reports and plans.
Yes, but I want to dangle my toes in the surf.
Dangle your fingers right here. Everything's connected. Aloha.
Aloha. Where do you want these? Hey, ask him. He's the one going to Hawaii.
Introducing the new Personal System 2 family from IBM.
Who, may I ask, authorized new computers?
Yeah, who?
You did.
Who did? I did? IBM. Of course I did.
The new IBM Personal System 2. The next generation in personal computing. New computers, new printers, and software. And IBM's new graphics put 256 colors on a screen at once, so our work will be bolder and brighter.
If it'll make him brighter, count me in.
Personal System 2 is faster. Oh, and it has incredible power.
Someone say, power?
It's a miracle. He's following instructions. Hey, we were made for each other.
Is it easy to use?
Even you could use it.
Can we tie it all together?
Ooh, Personal System 2 has excellent connectivity.
So we can talk to each other?
Only if we have to.
It's just what we need. Who's responsible for this?
Well, IBM.
Introducing the new Personal System 2 family from IBM.
Personally, I've always admired his use of yellow.
His merging of abstract shapes and a multi-hued palette is one of the joys of our time.
Yes, his subtle shading, his sensitivity to the gray spectrum.
A stroke work of a Rembrandt.
It's so thrilling to see the new IBM Personal System 2 in the hands of an old master.
Balderdash.
The new IBM Personal System 2, advancing the art of business.
Hey, my desk!
It's making room for the new computer.
We just got new computers.
I'm talking about a really big computer.
Is this big enough to run mainframe programs?
Piece of cake.
Is it big enough for hundreds of workstations?
Of course.
Wow, for thousands of customer accounts?
No sweat, kid.
Wow, that does sound big. You better not spill your coffee on it.
This is it? Where's the rest of it?
The IBM mid-range. Big computers in small packages.
As a business grows, its needs grow.
A little chat?
Especially its need for computing. So IBM, the leader in business solutions, developed the Application System 400.
Let's have a powwow.
It gives you the solutions you need today, and it can grow with you like no other system can. You can upgrade it without having to replace it. Meeting. With the new IBM Application System 400, the money you spend on software, training, and equipment will keep working, no matter how big things get around your plant.
Yeah, no, those are a great series of commercials. If you can look them up, definitely, they're all on YouTube. The IBM and Atari ones mainly with the MASH cast. You're going to love those. We've talked about Radar, of course, and, you know, as a kid, you wouldn't think about this, but then you realize it later. Everybody loves Sesame Street. Everybody loves Big Bird. Anybody notice that Big Bird always carried a teddy bear? And what did he call that teddy bear? Radar. You connect the dots there and you say, oh! So there's something I bet you didn't know, that Big Bird's teddy bear Radar was named after MASH's Radar because he had a teddy bear too.
Honestly, I would have found it hilarious if, like, on MASH, like Radar's teddy bear was like a stuffed bird that he called Big Bird.
That would have been funnier.
That would have been hilarious.
That would have been even a bigger connection.
Sesame Street is all Radar's dreams.
I love it. Now there's the spinoff.
Yeah, there you go.
Get on it. Get on that. Get on that.
Yeah.
And then finally, there is, now obviously, even if they wanted to use a laugh track, they couldn't because they shot on location. They had to make California look like Korea, and in some of those shots, I'm sorry, it still looks like California.
Yeah, I did say like the British like television shows didn't use that. The laugh track was most likely just added in post.
It was, yeah. But you can still take a look, as far as I know, at the set or the place where the set was for MASH. I'll try to put some video up here from one of my adventurers who took a look. But yeah, you can. There we go. If you have to walk. If I remember correctly, you have to walk down a long path, and you end up in where they had the set, and you see a burned ambulance, and a couple of remaining beams of where and squares of like, this is where the swamp was, this is where the mess tent was. And the burned up ambulance is there because they had a fire, I believe, during the finale or the episode before the finale, and burned everything. And then they also have like the famous sign of where like all the things were like Seoul, San Francisco, blah, blah, blah. And I think they have like a little tiny shack where they have some photos and stuff like that, and then a canopy with picnic tables, and so stuff like that. So it's, it's not perfect, and you can walk up to the helicopter pad and stuff like that. So if you ever get the chance when you're in California, and if it's still there, check it out, because it is going to be worth it, I think, if you're a MASH fan, or even if you've just seen the show in and out. You're standing on a film set.
Yeah.
That's the best part. Yeah. I think so. So
it's just one of those like nice things. That
it is. Do. I think so. So that is, thankfully, there are no more spin-offs. That's the end.
Thank you.
That's the end of MASH.
You know what would actually be one that I would love to see that would also
that?
get the historians going crazy?
What's that?
Gettysburg. MASH.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Probably wouldn't be called MASH.
Probably
That's-
wouldn't be called that, but the idea, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. Or just Civil War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Civil medics.
So basically, the bottom line here, Justice, is: would you recommend MASH to anybody?
Yes. I'd say if you're interested in taking a stroll down like television history, if you're like either doing it for a project or you're a little curious, I'd say definitely check it out. If you're like into war, like movies and television, definitely check it out because I feel like you could consider one of the cornerstones of like military media that wasn't directed by Oliver Stone.
True. Very true. Yeah, no, I love this show. I have it on DVD. I have the whole series, and you could also catch it. I don't even know if it's still on TV Land. I'm sure it is at some point.
You're probably gonna find it between like Gilmore Girls or like
Hot in Cleveland.
Yeah, Hot in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Good Times.
Yeah. But you can also catch it on MeTV. I know you can catch it on that. So that's another spot.
Changing the channel.
Justice, I want to thank you for coming on the show and knowing about that MASH exists.
Yeah.
And to everybody else, let's look at them directly into the camera. Watch the show. What is wrong with you? Watch the show.
Wait, hold on. I gotta look. Watch it. Watch it. Watch the show.
There you go.
Watch it.
I love it. So let's end the show with our favorite game in the world. Who are you?
Who
are you?
Who are you?
I love it. So, Justice, you've been on the show before. You know how this works. I'm going to play a clip.
Oh, I don't.
And, okay, well, I'm going to explain it to you.
Explain it for the new viewers.
Okay. Well, I'm going to play you all a clip, and you're going to tell me who it is and or what it is from.
Okay.
Okay, let's roll the clip.
Look, I know I don't look like myself, okay? But something really strange happened, and I'm really scared. I need you to help me, my best friend. I can prove it to you. Oh! The space goes down, down, baby, down, down the roller coaster. Sweet, sweet, baby, sweet, sweet, don't let me go. Shimmy, shimmy, cocoa bop, shimmy, shimmy, rock. Shimmy, shimmy, cocoa bop, shimmy, shimmy, rock. I met a girlfriend, a Trisket. She said a Trisket, a biscuit, ice cream, soda, pop, no, on top. Ooh, Shalina, walking down the street, 10 times a week. I met it, I said it, I stole my mama's credit. I'm cool, I'm hot, sock you in the stomach 3 more times.
All right. So, Justice, you seem excited. That is your clip. Do you know who that is and or what it is from?
Educated guess?
Yeah.
I'm thinking Tom Hanks from Big.
Tom Hanks from Big. Okay.
Yeah.
That is a good guess. I like that. I like that movie.
It's been a while since I've seen that, but I do think that might be the scene where like he's trying to convince his like friend is like, hey, I became an adult. Here's a handshake we used to do.
Okay.
Let you know it's me.
Okay. Not a bad guess. I like that. I like Big. It's a great movie. Let's check it out. Is that Tom Hanks from Big?
Is that Tom Hanks?
Look, I know I don't look like myself.
Yeah, it is Tom Hanks from Big.
I won!
You won!
Yeah!
Congratulations, Justice. That is correct. I am so sorry. That kid seems so freaked out.
Yeah, I mean, like, have you seen? I mean, look at Tom Hanks.
I love it. Well, yeah, but I mean, who wouldn't want to be best friends with Tom Hanks?
Yeah,
that's a good point. No, yeah, congratulations. You got that right. So you get about like 10,000 points there. And I'm
Yay.
going to get you an extra 5,000 just for coming on the show and talking about
I'm going
MASH.
to buy a Happy Meal with those points
I think
now.
you should.
Yes.
I think I'm going to take you right now.
I'm a happy boy!
There we go.
Yeah!
Well,
probably topped out the mic doing
I
that.
think you may have, but anyway. Oh yeah, our Magic and Tech team, he's like, oh no, I have to buy like 17 more mics now.
Pretty sure he's bleeding from the ears right now.
Oh, I think I kind of see it. Oh, there. Oh no, he's
He
down.
dropped.
He's
done.
Yep. Well, thank you so much, Justice, for coming on and discussing the show. I really appreciate it, and you're always welcome again. Hope to have you on again.
Thanks.
Thank you to our Magic and Tech team, whatever's left of him over there. And my name is Daniel Saletti. Thank you for watching the show. We will see you next time. That is a wrap.
Rap.